In so many ways, the family, at least the historical definition of the nuclear family, it's under attack. And some of this comes from not understanding why the family, I think, in culture is so important. So why is family, mom, dad, kids, so important for those of us who want to engage culture, and also such a target for those who want to destroy culture?
Yeah. Family is the first government that God ever created. So, God created the family on the sixth day,
Yeah.
and he gave Eve to Adam on the sixth day of creation. And so it is the most foundational, fundamental unit to our society is the family. In fact, if you don't have family, you don't have culture. If you don't have family, you don't have voters. If you don't have family, you don't have an economy.
Yeah.
So the family is the most fundamental unit in our society, and that's why it should be the most sacred unit and this is set apart unit in a sense, and our political leaders are doing everything they can to destroy the family along with our society. And so it being the one of the most God-given fundamental units in our society is important. And if you guys, we've talked about this before, I've talked about this with you before, Jeremy, but if you look at the Bible, God has given us three governments. He's given us the family government, he's given us the church government, he's given us the civil government.
Right.
But the most foundational government that he's given us is the family government. You don't have church government, you don't have civil government without the family government. And so I think that part of what has happened over the number of years, I believe the church has also not preached what a biblical vision looks like for the family. And so moms and dads don't even kind of know what our family's for. And so that's something that we need to recover, because that's the bedrock of our society, and that's what creates everything moving forward from that moment.
When we talk about things like marriage and raising kids, those elements of being a part of a family unit, I like to think often in terms of principle, because when things get murky or unclear, the principles guide us forward. When you look at marriage, when you look at family or kids, when you look at the family, what are some principles that you use or that you would encourage others to apply so that they can lead their families well, so they can train their kids well, so they can develop the kind of families that really can engage culture well?
The most important principle that I think moms and dads need to have anchored in their hearts and minds is that they are not God. They are an authority under God, and God's given them a directive to be faithful in stewarding and raising their kids in knowledge, fear of the Lord. What can happen, and I'm sure you guys have seen this in your counseling, is that mom and dad can kind of claim, an absolute authority in the family. Now they're the legitimate authority of the household, but that authority is a derived authority from God, and it's not a absolute authority. And this bleeds over into all sorts of other authorities. Our governor, the governor of California, is not an absolute authority. His authority is also derived from God. That's what Romans 13 says.
He doesn't understand that, though.
Yeah, exactly. And same for your pastor. He has a derived authority. And so once everyone gets through that pride mechanism in their head, that they are a derived authority from God, well, all of a sudden, then dad is accountable to someone outside of the family. Dad can't beat his kids. Dad can't get angry at his wife. Dad can't. And so if dad has true accountability, he's going to be a much better father to his children, and his children know that. So one of the things that we tell our kids is, we have house rules, but they aren't necessarily 10 commandment rules, right?
Sure.
We have don't jump on the couch, but we tell our kids, we're very clear with them. Hey, this is mom and dad's rules. These but these aren't 10 commandment rules. This is just how we're structuring our house. And so that we report to God, and that we have God's rules and we have mom and dad's rules, and there's a distinction there. And of course, our kids should honor mom and dad and obey our house rules, but the kids need to know that mom and dad have a higher authority that they have to report to.
Right.
And so and how that practically shakes out is, if, let's say, I tell my kids to go steal a pack of gum from the local, market, Well, my kids immediately know, hey, that's God's rule. That's a God's rule, and I can't disobey God's rules.
Right.
And we tell our kids, if mom and dad ever tell you to disobey a 10 commandment, you tell us and you honor us by saying, no, mom, we are not going to disobey God.
Yeah.
And so being able to teach your kids that what the practical reality of what your authority looks like with them, that creates, I think, all sorts of comfort and understanding with each other. And we know and the kids know how to better to respond to mom and dad as we're trying to live out what we believe the Bible's teaching us in our families.